read these things now. Basically, I'm going to show a 15 and a 60-minute chart to our SMF Pro Trading students on working with some of the indicators that they're looking at to establish momentum. And basically, they've got a 60-minute chart right over here, 60-minute chart, and they have this 15-minute chart. And I have to show them that on the opening bell is that the 15-minute CCI is above yesterday's closing CCI. So that's why Google has a little bit of power here. But remember, we're only in the first 15-minute bar. And so far, this bar is worth $5.74, $5.74 off the bottom. And what they're going to learn is that the difference between 15-minute and 60-minute. A 60-minute is a 60-minute reading, and it doesn't become final until after the 60 minutes is over. And basically what they've seen here, working with that CCI, working with this MACD, these blue bars. When the blue bars on the opening bell, that MACD is going higher from 2.9 to 3.2, that means that there's a lot of strength in the equity or in the dollar price movement of the stock. And basically, when we look at the MACD down here on a 60-minute, yesterday's close was 4.8. Now it's 5.4. And basically, we are going to start another 15-minute bar. So far, the 15-minute candle right down here is worth $6.25 from the low, swing low, to the high. And this is our formula right here that automatically calculates that 15-minute bar and that 60-minute bar. Okay? And what I want people to understand is what it's about here on an opening bell and the strength. So if you were trading the opening bell, some people we have trading that opening bell, is that we start to sell into the move when the numbers here peak and they can't go higher. That's when we would sell. The SMF Pro Trading students understand that the 15-minute opening bar, they're watching their 15-minute MACD, the blue bar, go higher. And so here's the first bar of the day. We are just now hit, and we're going to start another 15-minute bar. Here's the top. So what the SMF Pro Traders are learning is, where is that 15-minute peak? 3.2 was the last opening bar at 9:30. Tells you down here the time, 9:30. It tells you the low, and it also tells you the high. And when we look at the next one, we want to see that that MACD keeps increasing. As long as it's increasing, going higher, you would stay in the opening bell trade. If the CCI, which we seen down here, went from 109, that was the closing bell yesterday, it got above to 124, and as long as the blue indicator here continues to go higher, you let your trade continue to run. And this would happen on any equity. The reason why I'm using Google is because you're learning what that daily buy signal is. And what I want you to learn here is that on that 15-minute, first 15-minute bar was right here. This is your second 15-minute bar. And that MACD, as long as it goes higher, that means that the move has not peaked. And it hasn't. And when it comes to learning how to short a stock, you would never short a stock until that this is done peaking. And once it makes its peak, and once that CCI peaks and starts to deteriorate, meaning it hits a peak, until it hits the peak, you stay in the trade. And you watch the numbers climb. Okay? And this is what you look at. You watch this number, this blue line. You watch where you finally get the peak. Once you get the peak, what it's going to end up doing for you, SMF trader, is it's going to tell you how to let the equity continue to run. That way you get more gain out of this equity instead of selling out to ahead of the move. Okay? And basically what I want you to look at is that when we do peak, that's when we start selling into the move. And same rule would apply on the 3-minute chart, 60-minute chart, 15-minute chart. And basically we've got a continuation bar going up, and we got everything working in that direction. And but when we do peak, when we peak, we would sell. And you would sell your options, and you would sell if you're long the equity or long the options. Particularly when we're trading options, we want to let these options that we own right here, 1720, they closed at 1940. They dropped them down $2.20. Now look at them. And I've got big traders selling into the move right here. And when you're trading an option or call to go higher or a put, is that on the opening bell to exit that option for the profit is we wait and we watch, we keep watching that 15-minute MACD and that 15-minute CCI. There's the 60-minute bar. It climbs, so is this. But we really want to watch this one. There's a continuation bar. So I want to know when to sell my option. I'm not going to sell my option until we start to peak here. And once I peak here and the numbers continue not to move higher, that means that we're going to be putting in a short-term top in the equity, and I'm going to sell my options. And whenever I exit an options trade, I use these MACD, and I use that CCI, and I use all of my little indicators right here. And we're going to sell some more because here's 3.9 in this next 15-minute bar. It's greater than the previous one. And the 60-minute one down here is increasing, and it's above the previous 60-minute bar from yesterday, and it's going higher. So we're going to monitor that 15-minute one so that we know when we peak, and we peak when it stops going higher. 3.8 is in the second 15-minute bar of the opening bell.